ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, G2A, NVIDIA, and ESEA.
What's going on? Welcome back again to ESL Pro League. Oh boy.
Little slip.
That almost was bad. ESL Pro League here at the Burbank Studios. Moses, this is Blue. Yeah, and we just saw Splyce. I believe I said NRG when we actually got out of the game last time, but Splyce took that first map 16-11. Yeah, we all make mistakes. A couple throughout the evening, obviously. No reason to nitpick. But yeah, now we're going to be going on the second map of this doubleheader between these two teams, NRG and Splyce. It's going to be on train this time.
Yes, indeed. And of course, with Splyce picking up the victory this time now, at least a big question mark as to how exactly things are going to go in this matchup too, because like we were talking about before, we did say that Splyce did not have the best match when they played versus Fnatic at the Major, which is probably the most recent match on this map between this team and someone else that we can recall. However, there were some good things we saw from Splyce there. There were some good attempts to execute strategies on the T side and whatnot, some good attempts to try and do some sneaky things on Fnatic, but they just had poor execution because, well, I mean, without really any other further explanation, they were playing Fnatic, and that should explain itself when you look at the caliber of these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, Davey was kind of the one shining star in that match, if I recall correctly. He had a couple of really, really nice rounds against Fnatic, but yeah, I mean, there's not too much you're going to be able to take away from that. Just dominant win for Fnatic in that, obviously. But yeah, I mean, this is this map, at least we saw it's been played a little bit more by NRG. We saw, you know, Overpass hadn't really been touched by them, so at least this map they'll have some experience on it as well, which is a big deal. But I mean, like we mentioned when we got out of that match, this is NRG is fighting for one of those top 4 spots. They're not that far out of the running. They can't be dropping 2 maps tonight to Splyce. That would just be a disaster.
And also as well here too, looking at some of their previous history with it. Now that this is a map, of course, that we've seen them play much more often. Hopefully, Gabi is going to be able to direct the team a little bit better here. Whereas at a certain point in that last match, there just didn't really seem like there was a whole lot of cohesion between those teammates at all that was going on. It just seemed like they were being sent out to wherever they would like to play, essentially on NRG, and they sort of got lost by the end of that game.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where you'd kind of hope that someone like Silent and Justin, who have been playing very well for NRG recently, are going to be the ones to kind of step it up. I mean, you need a little bit more fragging power. I mean, Splyce was able to really just kind of will their way into bomb sites on Overpass. That T side was, you can't start a match off like that. Now, they almost brought it back. But when you have such a large deficit going into the second half, it's just so difficult to come back from that.
In that last map, it mainly was Justin doing most of the fragging power for the team, of course. We've seen him step up majorly over the past couple of weeks. It's sort of been a question as to how well Silent and Justin, who are players who had, you know, previously, if you look back to the last season, they were known as Method and whatnot. It was a much different roster, of course, but they carried over onto this one since that, and they carried the Pro League spot with them. Obviously, evolving quite a bit since then. And the big question was, are the individualistics, are these players' individual performances going to increase now that they have a much better IGL with them? And for Justin, at least, that's definitely been the case. He's stepped up majorly and has become one of the key players when it just comes to overall fragging power for this team.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, for you know, I'm really interested in this because they have actually Splyce. I didn't realize this going into the last match, but actually Professor Cass is actually coaching them now.
Yeah.
So he's moved into that coaching role. I think you actually mentioned it a little bit in the pregame.
Yeah, he said on Twitter that was a decision he had decided to make before this game, that he wanted to take himself out of the equation. Maybe his own individual performance had been lacking a little bit as of late, which I wouldn't necessarily contest. And now he's going to place himself in that coach role to sort of act as that coach/IGL hybrid that we've been seeing a lot of teams do as of late. And
actually, now that Shazam is in this roster as the stand-in right now, he actually had a pretty decent game on Overpass. He had some rounds where he got some opening picks for him, especially on the T side. The CT side, he did some work on rotations and everything. Some of the early aggression he had was pretty successful. Still a little bit of miscommunication there. Obviously, that's pretty natural considering he's just a stand-in. This is probably maybe the first night they've actually played with him. So we are actually getting word now that the teams are going to have a quick server change. So what we're going to do is send it off to a break really quick as they get that all straightened out. And when they're all set and ready to go inside the server, we'll bring it back and we'll get this game live for you. So stay tuned again. Just a very quick break. Oh, hey.
Hello.
How's everyone doing?
Welcome back.
Welcome. We are back with ESL Pro League, obviously.
A little early there on the cut.
Yeah, this is a little scary. But we are going to get ready to go into this second map. It is going to be NRG versus Splyce. The first map that we saw was Overpass, which Splyce took 16-11. Now we're going to be going into Train. We do have all members, all 10 members in the server, so they are going to be going live here very shortly. And as you can see, I mean, at least a little bit more experience than never playing it. NRG has two matches on this in this season so far. They're 1-1, and then Splyce 0-3. So not sitting too well on this one, which bodes well at least for NRG as they try and make this playoff push. That they, are facing an opponent that does not have that good of a record on Train.
Another player, too, to keep an eye on in this match is going to be Legia, who we already talked a little bit about. We already talked a little bit, of course, about how Justin had been performing in that last matchup, but now taking a look at Legia as well, who had actually a pretty phenomenal matchup himself there, and just in general has actually been one of the more stable players of this team, one of the more consistent ones on this team, which is a bit of a surprise because some people were kind of questioning, like where did he come from? Again, a lot of questions arose from this roster when it first formed a couple months ago, and he was definitely one of the big ones there, but he's proven himself quite well here, at least on the North American circuit. Yeah,
he is doing very well in this team, and he was one of those players that kind of came as that package with Godby. So yeah, a lot of people did kind of say, he was a little bit of the outlier. Like why is NRG bringing him over as well? Because over in Europe he wasn't that strong of a player, but here in North America, of course, having a little bit better of a performance, perhaps against some weaker competition than over in Europe. And Splyce is going to slaughter this pistol round. So that's a good start for them, riding high off the Overpass win, and they're going to switch sides. Now, important to note, those 3 losses that they have on this map, obviously with Shazam as a stand-in, came without him playing. So that's actually a big player to have in your arsenal now on this map with his capabilities with the AWP.
Yeah, there's basically, again, just as a round, there's basically 0 chance for Splyce to actually make it into the actual finals themselves, but going on a big win streak here at the end of the season actually could be a very good thing just to keep them out of the risky relegation range. Other teams that are going to be contesting for that are going to be CLG. Kona is basically guaranteed at this point to be I think they are guaranteed actually at this point to be the team that's last in Pro League ranking, and then as well, Complexity is another one that is sitting pretty low there. So that big battle between the bottom 3 or 4 teams or so, having Shazam in your pocket to keep out of that is definitely going to be a very big deal.
Yeah, definitely going to be able to help them out. Pissed around, Arya and Jason are combined. They're going to try and group up towards this Ivy to defend against this push. Smoke and Molotov. NRG's going to come right up. And it remains to be seen, are they going to explode through the smoke or wait for this fire to dissipate? And that they're going to wait for the Molotov. One more flashbang out, and it's perfect. Jason gets blind, but he recovers just in time to get a nice headshot on a Peter that holds things off, at least for a little bit. But this bomb site is under heavy pressure. NRG. This is another pistol round where they said they struggled so much on these rounds, and Arya brings it right back. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of that, but it's a 2-on-1, and Abe's been spotted out. Not a lot of opportunity for him here to win this, although that's a nice headshot. Godby takes an extended fight in the open.
Now going to be down to just Abe and Silent. Silent playing it back over right now, the back of the A bomb site, trying to take it cautiously, hoping he can find him out in the open here in the peak, but 47 seconds left. Silent does have plenty of time to play with there. He's going to catch him, but a little bit slow on the reaction, so he's going to end up getting shot down to 48 HP now. Gonna moves up to the bomb site, but again, taking the duel out in the open, equalizes the HPs basically, but up on top is Abe, and Silent doesn't want to play with him anymore. Just going to roll into the V bomb site and try to get the bomb down in here, and hopefully a better position against Abe to finish him off.
Silent's almost daring him to hit some of those shots. A lot of time spent out in the open with a Glock at long range as well. But now it's a 1-on-1. The bomb is planted, and Silent working his way up the ramp. There is a kit on Abe, but you could see jumping on top of the trains, clearing everything. There's so many different positions that he has to be wary of, that he has to check. And now Silent up the ramp. Is he going to be able to time this with the kit? It doesn't look likely, and actually he's going to miss that shot. Silent messes that pistol round up just a little bit, but it's big consequences.
So there's Splyce now again winning the pistol round, and there's this pistol rounds that we were just talking about too. NRG were able to slip the second one away on that map, but that is a pistol round that we absolutely should have had Silent having control of with all circumstances leading up to that final couple moments there. But peeking out from the back of the B-bombs, just a little bit too late. He's unable to close out that final kill, and Abe does get the clutch and is able to find the first round of the board. And it's an immediate upgrade here from Splyce. 3 players going for rifles, 2 on the SMGs, and one of them is a P90 as well. But Justin, nicely done, completely blind, but still finds the kill into Arya, bringing it into a 5-on-4. Chaos is going to ensue, though. Another kill coming out for the T. Shazam does respond on the CT side of things, and Jason R finding a second one just like that. We're back into a 3-on-3 in the CTs as well, looking much better positionally at this point, as well as their health pools.
Oh, Shazam even gonna push through the smoke, finds a nice kill. That's the bomb down, and Abe actually bails him out. Shazam down to 2 HP, gonna still chase down that kill with a pistol. 2-0 now for Splyce. It looked scary initially. It looked like it was gonna be a pretty solid round for NRG. It looked like they might even be able to make their way to the bomb site, but it doesn't go in their favor. And Splyce just barely hold on, but decent damage dealt. And this actually NRG's gonna keep buying. They want to keep the pressure on. Tech 9s, upgraded pistols, armor, it's all out. 5 smokes to use as well, and plenty of flashbangs to be able to force and push their way out this out one of the train yards and try and swarm on the defense.
So the bomb is going to work its way down the White Halls at first, but they'll abandon it there for the time being. They're just pushing it forward. A lot of grenades coming out onto that outer yard, but only Silent pushing it. He's going to be easy pickings for Davey, just spraying him down through the smoke. They even get aggressive on the back of the B bomb site too, where Abe is going to find another kill. Already chaining him up at this point. Finally a response from the T side of things, but it's just going to be Gabi and Justin left alive. Bit of an awkward encounter there as Davey will meet Gabi inside of the staircase, and while both of them are on top of it there, but Jason are finding another pickup for the CTs, and finally it just leaves Gabi alive. They already know where he's at. Davey just hopping right in there. He's going to be able to finish him off and find the 3rd round for the CTs.
Yeah, it's curious investment for NRG in that round, if I'm completely honest. So now it's 3-0, and NRG's going to have to save. That plan, whatever plan they had to kind of punish the damage they did in the 2nd round, it's not going to work out for them. So that's actually a huge win for Splyce. It's going to be another round of just pistols for NRG as this losing bonus builds up. Should be able to have an AWP in the hands of Peter in the next round, but a good start from Splyce.
We have seen this before, actually, though, on NRG's side. They have not been a team that's just plays the straightforward buy all the time. In fact, it's been a pretty common thing, especially on the CT side, where NRG ends up just going for a buy on the 5th round instead. When they have these little bit of an awkward trade, and they try to go for an aggressive buy on the 3rd round, doesn't really work out. So this time, of course, we're not going to see anything at all from NRG. Literally 0 kills. They almost managed to take out Davey, but not going to be enough. So NRG dropped once more without really having too much impact. And now, of course, in the 5th round, we'll finally see our first gun round.
Yeah, but look how much money they've allowed Splyce to accrue here. Shazam's got 8,000 after the buy, 6,000 on Abe, 8,000 on Jason R. There's so much money here. Even an op dropped over. Some Famas is saved up, but there's also plenty of Molotov. There's 5 Molotovs, 5 smokes on the CT side, so this is going to be a very difficult situation for NRG to handle. They've conceded so many early rounds. Op is in Peter's hands. It's glass cannon. He's got that towards T choke point. Lagia pressuring towards box halls. But there are 2 members of Splyce there to meet him and hold him off. That's Arya and Abe manning up that B bomb site.
Gio sneaking his way over there towards the upper doorway, hoping he can find someone outside of it. Going to be waiting a few extra moments here before he attempts to go for it, but Shazam beats himself with a battle there, missing 2 shots in a row. And Peter is going to be able to punish that, taking him down and striking the first blow here in favor of NRG on this first gun round. Waiting to see if anybody's going to peek out here on the short lane. Not as of yet, but he might be able to catch Jason R. And in fact, he does. Peter now up to 2 frags himself and also gaining more and more control of this outer train yard. But Justin hiding back a little bit there, but just as he pokes out, Ari takes advantage. That shuts him down, spins around and finds a second pickup on Gabi. Lagia, though, sneaking out, picks up another kill, but then Abe and Peter trade it back-to-back. However, the members of Splyce have run out of teammates. And with that said, Peter, with a very nicely played round from him, is going to be able to put the first round on the board for NRG.
Yeah, 4 kills for him, taking advantage of an awkward positioning mistake by Shazam. Caught out in the open, very uncomfortable fight where he essentially had to just kind of hope and pray that he was going to hit one of those 2 quick scopes. Nothing goes for him, and then Peter just takes advantage of the positioning. No one from Splyce could really contain that anymore. After that, they weren't in position to do it. No one had smoked or Molotov off that alcove, so Peter was able to push forward. That Molotov is going to keep him back. Does okay damage, down to 80. Nothing too scary for him to deal with. That does allow Shazam to get a whole new angle out towards T-Choke one more time.
Now most of Splyce playing for control of the outer trainer here too, since NRG have constantly gotten so aggressive to take control of this one. Only really going to be relying on Abe to defend the inner yard. And he, up until this moment, was playing a fairly aggressive angle and still is to a certain degree here. Also should note too that nobody from Splyce really playing close to Z, where you normally have that player on rotate, ready to go, or ready to rotate, I should say. It's not the case. They're all fairly heavily committed to that A bomb site, which means if we did see NRG abandon this default hit and roll back around, that could be quite impactful, but it doesn't look like that's the case. Most of them still committed to this default hit, but at the same time, Splyce are ready for it and have the response. They just toss right back at NRG here. And now Arya, moving out from the smoke, picks up a first kill, trying to control the spray into a second, but it's not going to pay off. He ends up getting traded out by Justin.
Yeah, now how do they respond? Davies pushed up aggressively, finds a kill. He's able to fall back as well. Justin's still not pressuring over towards Ivy whatsoever. Peter's now in position. Molotov behind the train, see if he can force anyone out. But it's Lagia who's going to be the aggressor. He's at E-Box right now. Davies on top of the ladder, so that Molotov didn't do damage. Might at least force out of position. Oh, there it is. Davey does go for the peek. Peter grabs him. Peter misses that shot, though. Jason R wasn't even looking. He turns around to get the kill. He is traded off by Justin. But now they know exactly where he's at. Shazam and Abe could position themselves accordingly. Shazam with the op is actually going to go towards the back train. This pop flash has got to do wonders for him. Justin goes for the peek. Massive damage on a Shazam who misses a shot. But it's Abe, who's just behind E-Box, who might be the insurance policy.
10 seconds left as well, so Justin really not a hole that he can try and do at this point. The bomb sitting on the other side of the yard completely. He'll pick that up. He finds the op on the floor, but messes up picking it up, actually, so has to stop dead in the open, and Abe's going to shut him down.
Yeah, that's the rebuttal there from Splyce. So it's back onto a save for NRG. They've got 3 members below $2,000, so they've got to have another round of pistols. And Splyce hang on, a lot due to the economy they'd been able to build up. That loss really didn't put a dent in too much of it. I mean, even after this buy, they're still sitting pretty nice. And Davey going back onto the MP9. He's looking to build up some money, but it's an investment now from NRG. You mentioned this, they don't go for those standard buy saves. They're going for the upgraded, upgraded pistols. They have the utility, they have armor as well. This did not work out last time. They lost, they didn't even get a single kill the last time they go for this, so a big investment now from NRG and a critical point in this match.
It's always a very large focus on just solid gun rounds from NRG without any caveats being added, without any extra like stars or asterisks being added into the gun round, like having to downgrade to rifles and whatnot. So going to be saving once more here from the side of NRG and just going for an all-in outer hit here too, but Splyce playing so far back here. Davey finds 1 kill, almost combos it into a second, but Gabi does end up taking him down. Silent finding another pickup here too, so actually making a surprising amount of progress. Shazam just throws himself to the wolves essentially. He's going to be A picking up something and tries to peek back out there. A little bit of a messy spray. Is able to take down Silent, bringing this into a 2v2. But now the CTs need to get back control, and they have no clue that Justin just got super aggressive about that one. Then as soon as Arya turns his back, Peter peeks out, shuts down Arya, and gives the round over to the side of NRG.
No resistance on the defense from that outer trainer. NRG is just allowed to jump through their own smokes, swarm around that bomb train. No one from Splyce was able to have the intel or contain it whatsoever. So NRG get exactly what they want into that round. That's a second, so somehow they pull off the big pistol round win, and it's going to be a save now from Splyce. No armor invested in, 1 flashbang on Arya, so a good chance here for NRG to close the gap just a little bit. We've seen them lose some of these in the previous map on Overpass. Jason R and Davey going to get aggressive over towards Ivy. It's Silent who's got to hold this off. He gets in the fight. He's out in the open. The pistols haven't been able to do the work just yet. Jason R finally does finish him off. That gun, though, going to be very difficult to salvage. But even then, Legia is going to get 1 trying to flank down ladder.
That's a bit awkward. Abe
Yep.
throws himself into the barbecue, and now Gabi just going to creep right forward, finding another pickup on Shazam. The final 2 stuck outside of Ivy. Justin almost giving himself away there, but able to duck out of it with 9 HP. And oh, nice timing on the tap. Catches it just as Arya was about to cross out inside of it, so he's going to be able to take him down. And Jason R, that last man alive, everybody from NRG just goes out hunting him, and it's easy pickings, of course, because he only has the P250.
5-3 now. Shazam's going to pick up the AWP. It's going to be back on the M4s as well for his remaining teammates. Good utility bought up as well, so very nice round for them coming into this. Going to be able to get back on the winning streak. But NRG's built up some of their own money. They're starting to catch a little bit of momentum here off that win with just the pistols. And actually, if they win this one, it should even out the scoreline at 5-5. It should be an extra round based off the buy that Splyce would have into the next one. This time it's fast-paced towards Boxhall's. Abe is going to try and get tricky inside the smoke, and he falls immediately. This is going to force a rotation. NRG's not pushing the issue, even though Shazam and Arya, and actually even Davey, they're all rotating over now, so I'm not sure what the call was, but they're acting as if this bomb site is already lost, and they've used a lot of flashbangs to get back in.
Or even investigating, too, to see if anybody had gotten aggressive from the T side and pushed out, so it's not the case at all. Completely miscalled, but NRG themselves have been playing extremely passively, so they haven't taken advantage of either of these sites as of yet. Davey's actually going to try to move forward here to look for some knowledge if he can find it. Molly goes down just below ladder room. Won't really be connecting onto him. Unfortunately, he's tossed out in a pretty obvious position. And the rest of the team, 2 of them still sitting outside of the B-bomb site. 3 more, though, getting ready to go in through T-Con. So it's definitely going to be a hit from that ladder room. And Davey needs to be the one to call this out as early as he can find it. Jason R2 inside a T-connector. Catches a 1-for-1 trade, so not so bad. But now those other 2 inside of the B-bomb site need to rotate in as Davey's not confirmed this. And he just gets absolutely wrecked. Legia jumps down and destroys him. Shazam picking up 1 kill, but misses the second connection and almost loses his life. Down at 16 HP. Needs to fall back and wait for Arya at the very least to get into position.
Yeah, I would have liked to try to take 1 more shot, but he swings out too wide initially, takes a lot of damage. He's got to play a little bit more passive. This should be a round for NRG. Arya's going to be on the flank, but there goes Shazam. Legia finds him, and now he's got very good knowledge of the timing that he could be getting flanked out. So he's going to go back towards T-Choke, and Arya's got nothing left to do. So a 4th round for NRG. The losing bonus is building up for Splyce, but either way, they were fully bought out into this round, so they're going to have mostly nothing. They might be able to upgrade some pistols to try and do some damage, but it's going to be another round where NRG has a big advantage in it.
So Arya now hoping to keep himself alive, but it actually doesn't look like anybody from NRG is hunting in the right direction here for this one, so should be a pretty safe bet that he keeps this rifle heading into the next round. NRG themselves, of course, is still just now building up their own bank here, stringing, I think, 3 together at this point. But still a lot to go here to bounce them really back into this game and into a safe position. But they're going to make it a little bit easier here with this round, of course. This Splyce, with them being as broken as they are going to have to go for essentially a full save on everybody except for Ari, who carries over that rifle from the previous round.
Do invest in a smoke and a flashbang, a little bit of utility, maybe to try and delay. These pop flashes might be able to make something happen, but Arya is going to be the one who's got to do it with the M4. Initially bring that towards the inner side. He's going to readjust towards the outer bomb train. And NRG, it looks like they want to go a little bit more fast-paced towards the outer, or towards the inner bomb site. Gabi and Silent going to be there, but there is Abe coming right through the smoke and finding Lagia this time. He lost that battle last time, but he salvages an AK now. So there's an opportunity here as well, because Arya is right beneath ladder with the other M4. So we'll have a quick flank if they do commit to the center bomb site.
He's got to be cautious about himself, though, not to reveal too early. And Abe gets aggressive, moving in. Almost is going to lose that AK, which he's just picked up. Keeps himself alive, finds a kill, almost comboing it into a second, but unfortunately the spray transfer is not the best. And not only will Gabi find this pickup onto Abe, but Peter will find another kill on Shazam as well. 3-on-3, really for live for the CTs here, but there's Arya with that rifle now doing a little bit of work, and he's got armor sitting behind his too. Almost finds Peter around the corner, but just misses it. However, he does get past it, but I think he's going to challenge him, and this is not going to be the greatest here. Peter, that Molly's not going to force it back at all, but Arya literally just goes in and kills himself. Says, I'll give you this one kill, but the rest is in your hands now, as Gabi has to hold off this 1v2. The Pete comes in, giving himself away, but at the same time, there's so much time that's gone by, and Davey has to try and bait Gabi out into the open. It's not working out so well. He goes up on top, but Gabi's going to clutch it out anyway. Shuts down Davey, and that'll be another round for NRG going up onto the board.
What is that Molotov tactic by Arya? I am so confused.
I think he thought he probably could have ran out of it quickly enough, but yeah, obviously not. Unfortunately, ends up killing himself with
I got to imagine maybe he was thinking that since he throws the Molotov there, that someone would look away and he'd be able to just like kind of run right through it. I don't know, but either way, I mean, with no kits, it wasn't super likely they'd be able to win that round. But interesting choice of tactic there. Peter gonna get a nice shot on Arya, who jumps out into the open. So another opening pick for the terror side of NRG.
Now with NRG, once again, as we've seen actually in the past couple of rounds, they're starting off with an advantage and it never really being corrected by Splyce. The same chain of events is unfortunately just going to tumble down here. Now Splyce is the second player, only keeping Shazam, Abe, and Jason back alive. That's 2 ops as well. You really only have Abe with the rifle, and he's in a bit of a riskier position. He actually could get a nice flank going here, and this is just as the take is beginning too, so 2 kills for free. Gabi and Lagia both go down, and now T-Con isn't even a safe take anymore. So NRG have to pull off of that outer hit, and look at all these grenades they just used. They're still going to try to commit themselves to it because of how much of a commitment they gave themselves with those nades, but Abe finds a 3rd kill. Silent finally shuts him down, but he's got the intel that the take is coming into this site, but Silent, nicely done, gets the 1-tap onto Shazam, and just like that, they're back in control of this matchup with only Jason R left alive from Splyce.
Yeah, and the bomb is kind of heading over towards the B bomb site. With all the attention being outer, with the kills coming in that way, they're making the assumption that Jason R is going to be at the outer yard. They're correct in it, but it is very risky. If he was inside, that would be such a difficult one-on-one for Silent to kind of recover from. So the bomb does get planted. Now they know Jason R is out here, and the question is, does he go for it? No kit. He knows one is outside lurking, cutting off the rotation, and he knows one is now inside with the bomb. So he might actually think this is the outer bomb site, now that I think about it. But,
yeah.
I mean, all he really has to do is just save this gun. There's really no avenue back into this.
Also, of course, with Silent just hanging out there, really just wastes his time anyway. So even if he'd attempted to go for it, would have had to probably take down Silent first and make that realization. So Splyce is Jason R just going to make the safer decision, which is to fall back, not even take the chance on winning one of those 1v1s. They still need to keep this big gun in play, and falling outside of Ivy is going to be a pretty safe position for him to attempt to do that from.
Yeah, should be able to maintain the op. So good on Jason R for that. The full losing bonus, I believe, is built up, or it's getting there. But it is still going to have to just be pistols for the CT side. Yep, the full losing bonus is in. But either way, I mean, they're not able to string these rounds together. Their next buy has to be really solid. NRG is going to start running away with this T side. It's been 5 straight for them, which is just madness considering how this started. Splyce's defense has really kind of dropped the ball. NRG's found ways. I mean, mostly it's just been off the picks of Peter. They've given Peter so many kills out here in mid. He's been so effective, but that time he gets a little bit overzealous out in the open. Abe's going to try and be creative inside the smoke one more time, like he is watching for it. And Abe can't make any mistakes here, and it's Gabi who's going to find him. Shazam trying to counter this push. Justin is trying to throw guns away to make sure that they can't be salvaged, but he just recovers in time to find that.
Now, Davey going to find himself an additional duel against God B. Takes him down, but with only 19 HP left, he did drop the bomb, but he's got to very quickly look for some more targets to knock out of here, as Legia can easily just walk right back up. And he's already retrieved the bomb, so Davey not going to maintain that advantage for very long at all, and also just catches Davey with his back turn, so an easy kill for him to pick up. And NRG, just like many of the rounds that have passed so far here, just have an absolutely giant man advantage, and it's left to one man to clutch it out from a Splyce, which is going to be Jason R in this case.
Yeah, smoke is all a ruse, though, and it actually keeps Jason R at this site for an extra second or two. So he's going to rotate over, and he's going to be met with fire. And it looks like he doesn't have the same concept of playmaking as Arya did, so he's just going to run away. Try and save that one more time, although the bomb does just now go down, so there's a lot of time for him to have to survive. NRG, I mean, this is a great opportunity. They know he went towards the inner bomb, so they can cut him off in multiple different ways. One player's going to go up ladder. So he's really got to fight his way to keep this weapon, and he's got a good angle to at least punish Silent. And there it is, the jumping shot, or the shot onto a jumping player. Now he turns around, he's waiting for that peek, but he looks up just at the wrong moment. Justin does clean him out. 7 rounds now for NRG.
And of course, NRG just winning so many rounds in a row, starting to build up their own economy now. 6K, I think, is the lowest amount they have currently sitting on Gabi. He's going to be a little bit lower, I think, after he goes for his own investment. But yeah, there we go. Might have even dropped the gun for him, too, because some of the other guys were sitting on a somewhat ridiculous amount. So they've taken the lead, and they're holding it with flying colors at this point. It's Splyce. I don't know what's happened, but they continue to lose the opening advantage. And in that last round, finally, they find the first pick, but it's almost immediately traded back. And they just lose so many players so quickly. Splyce, unfortunately, unlike the last map, they're just not able to find any of these trades, and they often leave themselves in these 3-on-1 situations.
Nice tactic from Splyce. Silent jumps across so that Jason R shoots, baits it out so that Peter can grab position. No one re-peeking after that, though, and actually it looks like Peter and Silent want to boost up on top of the server right over the smoke. See what they can find. No one's going to be peeking this, though. Opening kill for Gabi. Davey gets a little bit over-aggressive. But things equalize as Shazam responds with the ult.
And now still looking for NRG to try and execute the default here, but they are going to have to keep that bomb in play as well, as currently it's held back, and they're already taking control of Ivy. Shazam going to peek back out, but I don't think he was expecting them to be this aggressive. Nonetheless, though, Jason R rolls in from the back and shuts down Silent, and it falls to Peter to hold control of this now as he's pushed out, but he doesn't really have access to the site any longer, whereas the other two are out on this site. Legia's found a kill, but again, they've forgotten to bring the bomb inside, so it's going to have to be Justin that falls back and retrieves that so they can actually take control of this bomb site, which is still happening very, very slowly. Arya still alive and well here, and he's going to press forward. Might be able to find the free kill on Legia, but he panics. So here's that re-entry coming back in from T-Connector, and Peter, in the meantime, is going to find a kill, takes advantage of that one, peeking out, finding that pickup there, and 1 by 1, same problem as the past couple of rounds here. The members of Splyce just continue to get picked off. It's all Jason R, and Legia is going to very easily take him down too. It's
actually the patience, or not really the patience because they dropped the bomb. It's that they had a delay from doing anything to go back and get the bomb. So it made the Splyce members very, very antsy. You know, they didn't keep their composure, started pushing and getting aggressive, trying to find something out, and they all get punished for it. So NRG again. It's now, I mean, it's just, this lead is just growing. It's 7 rounds in a row now at 8-5. Splyce hasn't had a response in this defensive side. Ever since they went on that early run of 4 rounds, they haven't really had the answer. So tough half for them so far. They are on pistols, some members with upgraded armor, but NRG's been so good on these anti-ecos that it doesn't seem like it's going to be too big of a deal.
Silent finding the first pickup yet again, but there is some aggression that comes out from Splyce. Jason R picking up that first kill, and Abe finding another one at 12 HP, though he's got to be cautious, and yeah, can't even retreat outside a ramp quickly enough, so Peter catches the trade. Also, for giving up this kill too, they essentially give up the B-bomb site. Splyce is going to try to rotate quickly in through Z there, and we can see that now. Jason R and Shazam trying to get themselves out of the site. They succeed in doing so. Legia can't pick off either one of them. Jason R also having that AK in his control, but it's very quickly going to get dropped. Legia finding another one. All right, with a nice little surprise there as he rounds the corner on the jump. Peter misses the connection there, so they'll take him down from that. But alone in the 1v2, but hold on now as he's found another pickup, trades out for the AK. All he's got to do is finish off Gabi, but Gabi's already clutched out once before. The molly goes on the ground, and the smoke over the bomb, but I think it's a little bit overshot here regardless. He doesn't have a kit, but still he finds the kill, takes down Gabi, and should still have plenty of time to defuse this bomb. Nicely done by Arya on the 3K. He's going to clutch things out for Splyce, but it's going to be a little bit close on this bomb. I think he's just got it, though. And there you have it. Splyce win the round.
So, I mean, just as I say, they're doing good in the anti-ecos. Why not have a Caster's Curse come in? That was it's a very, very poorly played 1-on-3, obviously. I mean, Peter's still stuck on the ramp. He falls, but some isolated players from there that are a little bit overexposed. So Arya's able to win just a miracle somehow. with that AWP. Nicely done from him. So that helps out a little bit. 6-8. That's their first round in some time, but still through that, I mean, all the money's built up, so NRG's not hurting so much for weapons or nades or anything like that. Neither is Splyce. So this is essentially the first time in a long time we've had 2 full buys heading off against each other.
So Shazam catching the aggression coming out from Legia, but not going to be able to take him down just as of yet an 8. That's like
these Molotovs, man.
What is that, like the 3rd or the 4th one now that's messed up?
Why not? I don't know if that was messed up or the right idea, but just either way, they didn't have the communication that he wanted to push up to support, so he just Molotovs his opponent. It's either that to prevent him from going down the ramp, or he was trying to bounce it off the wall. But yeah, either way, it's a bit of a mistake there as his teammate tries to help him out of a tough spot.
So, after that awkward encounter, NRG do fall back from their aggression over here to the back of the bomb site. Again, setting up for the default initially, but then pulling all their pressure away from Ivy. So they're going to leave that door wide open and just send 4 in the T connector, as you can see right there on the screen. Legia going to drop in through ladder room. They'll begin that now. But Splyce still with a heavy focus on the outside yard defense. If they're able to shut down some of these initial pushes, then this is going to be a very, very rough round for NRG to try and close out. And that's what we've already seen. Jason R and Davey finding 2 kills. Same thing happens again with Shazam as he finds 2 more. Jason R picking up the final one on a Peter. It's an absolute shutdown. NRG will hold the advantage coming out of the first half, but it's going to be a very small one.
Yeah, it was, all things considered, because they went on that huge run, and then the last 2 rounds go to Splyce. So good on them to make that little bit of a comeback to kind of even things up, have as close as a half as possible. It's 7-8. They switch over to the T side though, and we did mention in Overpass that in North America these maps tend to frequently be more T sided than the CT side, even when they're heavily favored in the CT direction. The T sides do manage to still have some rounds, so not necessarily a bad half out of Splyce, although they do have a tall task ahead of them. And it comes down again, NRG. We've seen them win both of their Terrace pistols. They said they've struggled at winning pistol rounds, but they've won both their Terrace sides, and they've lost their initial CT side. So, I mean, that's kind of going to be the big start, because NRG's actually gotten slow starts in pretty much both of these matches.
Another key factor that's going to come into play here once again, though, is a Jason R on that T side. We saw him, especially in the earlier rounds, was just an absolute monster when it came to just rolling into these sites and finding those entries, finding the first couple of kills, too, especially when NRG tried to get a bit more aggressive on their CT side. If he brings that factor back into play, if NRG try to do anything aggressive like at the back of B, then that's going to be a huge punishment, and possibly a lot of open B bomb sites here for Splyce to just punish round after round again, just like we saw in Overpass.
Everyone from Splyce heading towards the inner bomb site. It's just going to be a 5-man rush. No finesse to it whatsoever, no creativity. And Gabi, he is not expecting that whatsoever. The flash was pretty nice, actually. It was pretty clever, but it doesn't work out that effectively. And this is already a lost cause. The rest of NRG push through Ivy, so they're going to have a big flank going on, but the bomb is being planted on the other side of the train, and they have no utility and no kits.
So the suck of that flash was essentially a perfect connection, but just gets whiffed off immediately after that. And now the final 3 players attempting to make some sort of progress, get themselves back into this fight. Silent finds a first pickup onto Davey, but there's still such a high concentration of players in this bomb site. However, Peter finding another pickup onto Abe. Still 3 left alive, but most of them are concentrated in the back of the bomb site. Arya finding one of them taking down Silent. Justin trying to unload on one of them, but he runs out of ammo, and now Arya just picks up another kill. It's all on Justin at this point. Was looking good for a minute there, but Splyce do bring NRG back down to reality, and now they're going to tie this game up at 8 rounds.
Yeah, they made you believe that retake was actually going to happen for a little bit. Silent was actually doing some work. If he was able to get one more kill, that would have helped out a lot, obviously, just because of the positioning. But either way, Splyce do win it out. 4 kills for Arya in the pistol round. And now here's the investment. Some SMGs come out, UMP on Abe, MAC-10 on Davey, 3 AK-47s next to that. They've only really got 2 players of utility, Abe and Arya. Davey does have 1 nade to work with the MAC-10. We saw an Overpass. Davey was essentially just, yeah, YOLO rushing with this MAC-10 just to see what he can find. He's going to see if this is clear. The rotation is on, though, from the CT sets. They're going to get here in time. An initial fight is won by Davey, but Peter responds on Abe, a little bit too aggressive through that smoke. Davey's going to keep pushing, gets 1 before being traded off. Now it's the rifles left for Splyce.
And Arya catching the player pushing up there on the sidewalk. So Jason R and Arya clean up those final 2 kills. As expected here, Splyce will take control of the second round, and don't really lose all that much. I think they end up losing 2 of their SMGs there. It looks like they carry 3 rifles out of that round, so unless they had gone for a 4th, they're not really going to take any big losses.
Yeah, and Abe and Davey go right for the SMGs again. The 2 MAC-10s are out, so expect much of the same out of Davey. Just rush forward, see what he can find for the team. And they'll make a decision based off what he sees or what kills he gets. Well, this time he's a little bit more slow pace. He's going to take the MAC-10 over towards Ivy, waiting for some push, and actually Justin's going to oblige. Justin's going to make it happen. He does have Shazam far back spotting for that. So now that the pressure has been pushed back, Davey's going to make his move.
Justin now waiting to see if these players are going to execute over there through Ivy. Most of NRG actually hiding back, and there's a big focus on that inner yard again. Silent spots it, places himself just on top of the ladder there to keep himself in control of upper, but he really only looking to screw around with these guys a little bit. It definitely still looks like they're trying to execute here to A, and also look at Davey. He just waltzed right in. Nobody paying attention to Ivy at all. Catching that kill for free. Panics a bit, but should as well be able to... No, he's actually probably going to go down in a second here because he's down at 10 HP after getting hit by that HE.
Just trying to live. Just doing everything he can to survive.
Another
and
nade messed
Shazam's
up.
going to save him. So Davey gets into a tough spot, but he does get away. Is that going to do it? That is. Finally, he's taken out. Nicely done, Peter, with the HE up into heaven. Now he's going to try and fall back, but this is basically, this round's essentially over. Davey's done the damage. He at least got all the intel, attracted all the NRG members to him where they could just be slaughtered by Shazam with that Galil. Abe with his Mac 10 is going to try. Peter's just running, just bailing out.
This is... There you go. What was that song? The people chase each other around. You play that song?
I do not know what song
What's
you're talking
called?
about.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no clue.
I forget what it's called.
Well, that would be
That's awkward.
the first step to letting me know what you're trying to discuss. Either way, 10-8 for Splyce. Double up setup comes out for NRG, so they've brought out some firepower here. There's plenty of utility on the Splyce side, plenty of smokes, Molotovs to force them out of position, flashbangs to blind them, just to allow themselves to get into aggression on these oppers. If they can get close enough, can neutralize them a little bit. But right off the bat, one op is going to be in connector. That's gone back towards the B-bomb site on Peter. The other op is over towards Ivy. That's on silent, playing around with the smokes a little bit. But there's no real spread out tactic from Splyce. It is going to be Davey very much in a lurk position over towards Ivy. You can see him there just biding his time, not willing to make a move. And that opening kill from Jason R, much like we saw in Overpass, he starts things out. Heavy pressure towards the inner bomb site for Splyce, but it's going to be Peter who bails him out. That shot's not going to land, but when does Davey make his move? It's right now. Silent's still there, but he does fall. But NRG now know it's a 3-on-2 at the center site.
Look, yeah, that flashbang does not have much impact at all. Acts as an early warning, too, for Arya, but Arya freezes there on top of the bomb, trying to defend it. Legia going to take him down anyway. 3 of the CTs left up and rolling. Shazam jumping right through that smoke, but there's such a high concentration of these CTs on the site now. Davey does trade back the kill onto his teammate, but he's going to jump in with the knife out, though, and just leaves himself in the open. So Legia finishes it off. Still plenty of time left to defuse that bomb. NRG are going to strike back after a bit of a rough start to this half and keep things close now at 9-10.
Rough start to the round as well. Jason R with an opening kill. Huge rotation from NRG. As soon as that kill comes in, NRG essentially evacuates that A bomb site. There's only silent left out there. They commit a lot to prevent any kind of take towards the B bomb site. So 9-10 now. A little bit low on money, so Legia is going to be stuck on a shotgun. They lose one of the AWPs in that round, so they only have one on Peter. That was Silent who fell over towards Ivy. No chance of retaining that into the next round. Again, Splyce, quick pressure towards the box halls. Nade doesn't do too much damage. It's going to be Silent and Davey again. Look like they're about to run into a duel.
Yeah, playing up close as well inside of the ladder room with a shotgun. If it ends up being this default from Splyce, but this could be the fall away that we saw a couple rounds ago too, where Davey just puts pressure on initially to try and make them think it's going to be the default, but then he falls back and regroups with them to push back towards Whitehall. So we'll find that out in a moment, but could very well be leaning towards it this time. And if there's going to be 2 dropping in from ladder room, if Legia makes a connection onto both of them, again, that's a very large part of the hit that just goes by the wayside. It'll feed him an upgrade to an AK, and then he could just punish the 2 that are trying to push out their T-Con. So it could be a very easily shut down round. But however, before it even starts, Justin gets aggressive, pushing up towards T-Connector, takes down Shazam, and immediately puts a stop to some of this pressure that Splyce were going to be looking to hit over towards the outside site.
Yeah, no chance for any trades to be made. So with that, Legia in the smoke and a shotgun, this is dangerous. Does fall out, gonna throw a Molotov there. Abe's caught it, he's gotta take this battle. He does win it, but he burns alive. Legia did just enough damage. There's a smoke to extinguish it. Arya's trying to make something happen, but it's Jason R who picks him off. Peter still not yet chiming in with this AWP. Gets over towards the bomb site. Silent wins the battle towards Ivy as well. That's a critical fight to win, and there's Peter. Comes alive into the round. Finds that kill. Jason R, the last one left, and he just looks away and tries to flick back. Not going to land it. 20 seconds left on the clock. He does have the bomb. He's got so many kills to find, and Silent is just being so patient.
Jason R just trying to hope he can grab something out in the open here at this point, but now waiting to see if you're going to get arrested on top of the trains. It's not the case. He spots one of these players, but again, the connection just missing. Shot after shot. It's got to be that'll end up taking him down. 3 left alive at the end of it for NRG. And now they will tie this game up and break Splyce's economy here too, as it would appear not really going to be viable for them to force it this time. It's just going to be Jason R, who was sitting at like 6K at the start of this round, donating some pistols for his teammates.
Yeah, I mean, as this losing bonus builds up, they have a decent amount in the bank behind everything, so they can invest into some of these deagles. As you can see, they've got 4 of them. Splyce is gonna, or I mean, Jason R is gonna stay on the. Actually, no, he buys one up at the end as well. So 5 deagles, 1 smoke onto Arya. I mean, essentially, there's no execute possible. They've just got to rely on getting some 1-deek, some headshots, or at least tagging up players so that their teammates can finish them off. But it's going to be so difficult, especially with 2 ops to contend with. Although, as I say that, Shazam, nice shot onto Justin.
It's the Juan Deeg takes down Justin. However, Abe at the same time almost essentially getting traded out as he's down at 8 HP, making him nearly useless for the rest of this round as he's going to play very, very passively for it. NRG, though, still focusing most of the defenses to the outside site, but keeping Peter ready to rotate in the event they would go for an inner hit. Not the case, though. Trying to line up that default once again. And that's exactly what they're going to be doing now, executing it, getting a lot of progress forward here. Arya missing the connections on the Peter, though, and now they're alerted to it. Silent and Legia picking up 2 kills. Shazam did find an additional one of the Silent here, but they can't find any more. Legia just being fed kills, up to 2 for him. He's finally shut down by Shazam. Shazam's up to 3. Single-handedly saving this round so far and bringing this into a 2v2, but they also need to be very, very careful because Gabi does have a flank lined up as he's currently placed himself just inside of ladder room.
I'm surprised he let that plant go down. Shazam spots out Peter. Shazam's still not aware that Gabi's here. That's where he bides his time. Davey, the last one left, and he's actually positioned himself so the bomb is not viewable to him. That could be an easy to fuse. But look at the discipline here. Waiting as long as he possibly can. Oh my lord, Molotov, that's huge. But he never takes the shot, and the Molotov is going to eventually expire, so no damage done. It looked scary for a moment. He had a lot of opportunities to pull the trigger there, but he goes for the Molotov play.
Hit him lined up at one point, too, as they were both walking towards each other. Could have just gotten the collat to close it out, but not going to be the case, and NRG could count themselves a little bit lucky there. The decision was not made to take an op shot, so there you have it. NRG now in the lead of this situation. And also starting to build up a semi-decent bank on some of these players. Definitely still struggling. Splyce, the one good thing they're doing is they are trading it out round after round here. So they're keeping NRG's money a little bit lower than I think they would like to have it at. But for Splyce now, going on to another gun round, it's another chance to break the CT economy and immediately put the T's back into this game.
Yeah, that plant helps out as well. Shazam with the AWP, but look at Abe. I mean, this has been Splyce this whole half, aggressive towards box halls. A perfect pop flash, though, for Peter. Abe gets into position very nicely, eats a lot of damage, down to 12 HP. Peter almost reacts perfectly to that kind of a play. But a man advantage, Legia comes up ladder and just assassinates Abe. Now he can fall away. Evens things up at 4-4. That is a ballsy, ballsy play to make.
You can just see it there, literally not even taking it slow either, just rolls right up. Unfortunately, it's going to amount to not a whole lot there. Shazam immediately trades it out. Justin finding another one. Keep in mind, Legia can just walk right up behind Shazam, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Finds another kill. Bomb has now been forfeited too. It's just on Arya. Nice aggressive CT-sided play here, specifically coming out from Legia. Basically saves Splyce in this round for being overwhelmed. Justin's going to find that final kill. And Splyce will not catch their response as of yet in this round, as NRG do get a much more solid lead going this time around. And here comes the pause, I believe, from Splyce.
Yeah, 12-10, and I mean, we just saw Legia make those huge plays. He's at 21 and 16 so far in this map, having himself a very, very good half. Mentioned he was the player to watch, and we're seeing why here right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said before, very much a consistent player, and as we've seen here, a very good, aggressive CT-sided player too, willing to take those risks. It does get overzealous about it too, like you see with a lot of these North American players. Like, had this been a different player, might have gone for that first kill and then moved in to look for the second, where he had a very large chance of possibly getting traded off because of so much time was given to react to that sort of a thing. But no, catches the trade, it's back down to a 4-4, just respects it, falls back, goes back down to the ladder room, and groups up with his teammates.
Yeah, really good stuff in this defense that we're seeing come out of NRG lately. They've won 4 rounds in a row, so it's very, very good stuff. Even with the frightening round where it was all the deagle, Shazam with those 3 kills, puts themselves in a scary spot where they recover nicely. So, I mean, now that they have some money built up, it did get a little bit sketchy there for a moment after that round where a lot of them were beneath $1,000. Now they're all sitting around 1,500, 2,000. Justin's at 5,000. So they're starting to build up some money in the bank, and this defense is looking like it's going to be able to stop Splyce, who haven't really had an answer for it quite yet. They won that pistol in the next 2 rounds, but they've really had no success on their gun rounds.
It is still being kept close, however, though, and that's the dangerous thing is too, because we could very easily see this just go completely out of control with Splyce bouncing back these rounds if they find something they can utilize against NRG. But so far, NRG has been very good at keeping the pressure on and not really giving Splyce any room to work with when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of rounds where some picks come out for Splyce, but they always do get utilized, just like we saw with Legia the past few rounds. His movement, I mean, they're being very very aggressive on these choke points towards the outer trainer. They're not giving Splyce a lot of room to work with, which is pretty cool. And this is exactly what NRG needs to do, because they are fighting for that playoff spot. They absolutely do need to win this one after dropping overpass. I mean, that's huge for them moving forward.
A similar thing happens on that last half too, where we see once we actually see NRG finally starting to chain some rounds together, it's them getting aggressive very early on in the round. They overwhelm the members of Splyce on the CT side, and then bring it down to a 3-on-2 situation or something like that, and then they just take it slow, get that 1 or 2 final kills that they maybe need to get control of the bomb site. And then from that point forward, it's a completely outnumbered situation, and they have a very low chance of losing it from that point forward. So no pressure from that. No pressure once they have gotten themselves that huge advantage, and they're very easily able to close out the round.
So 12-10 for NRG as this map is starting to come to a close. Just pistols for Splyce. They have Tech 9s, a couple P250s, not a whole lot of utility. 3 members for them gathered up towards Ivy, and it looks like Shazam, T-Choke, trying to make something happen with that Deagle, but this time Justin just makes sure that nothing is going to happen. Shuts him down very early on. Silent now aggressive. The Molotov is they get past it. They know exactly where he is as well. The pop flash has got to be perfect, and it is. It does well to blind A, but Jason R does trade him off immediately after.
Justin in a little bit of an awkward position here with that player behind E-Box pressuring him. Also keep in mind too that you're going to have Jason R rolling up from the alternate tunnel, but doesn't really end up working out so well. Justin is casually mopping the floor with the final 3 players here from Splyce, takes all 3 of them down, gets the 4K here, and puts a 13th round up on the board for NRG, 3 more away from closing out the map now.
It's this double up setup as well that's going to be very tough for Splyce to break into. Shazam's done pretty well. He's 15-15, but he has had some nice opening kills on Train on this map on the T side. But he has a tall task going against Peter and Silent. Silent's been using it over towards Ivy. Peter, meanwhile, this round especially, he's going to push on the upper ramp, get in position there. Here comes that aggression again from Abe. Got to be very careful. Peter's going to take the peek. The nice flick. Abe falls. Good advantage held by NRG now.
With that, Splyce just freeze. No further momentum being made closer to that B bomb site. They are going to drop the bomb down off of Arya. He'll creep forward a little bit here towards ramp, but you can just see how passive he's being about it, not really wanting to take the risk on it. And in the meantime of this one too, Davey has been just destroyed by Silent, who got aggressive, pushed out of Ivy, found him there. That's those bounce of controlled aggression that we were talking about previously. Shazam, though, not going to be fooled by Legia this time. Nicely done. Gets the close-up shot. Gets him down, and finally, at least a little bit of a trade is going to occur here in the favor of Splyce.
Actually, it looked like that. I mean, that's an unfortunate push for Legia. The pop flash comes in to help him out to at least blind 1 person, but it lands just past Shazam, who's posted up. So he gets a pretty nice close-up shot. Now it's all on Gabi. 3 members for Splyce towards these box halls. The boost over to catch anyone off rotating, and actually that jump almost does it. That's Peter who gets away, just barely. Smoke comes out on lower ramp. It's going to delay things even more for Splyce. Gabi close up. I don't believe they heard that flashbang. The second one catches him, but he's recovered very, very quickly. 30 seconds left on the clock. Splyce very slowly making their move, and Gabi is going to try and hold this out behind Spindles.
Gabi's just going to keep himself positioned here, but no push from upper as of yet. He's waiting to peek back out, and he does so. Nice spray control there. Peter does find the second kill, but it's due to a big assist from Gabi. Shazam now the last one alive. There's nothing he can do. There's only 20 seconds left. You just got to run for the hills now and try to save the gun.
That's a nice shot, though. You could hear that he's getting chased out. Pauses to get the 1 kill, and he is going to save it. No one from NRG close enough to hunt that down, but again, Splyce on a gun round get locked out. Not having much success whatsoever, and the money is built up enough that NRG can sustain these losses. They've got plenty of cash to rebuy on anyone they could need. They can even drop over plenty of weapons, so Splyce not even really doing a dent into this defense quite yet once the gun rounds begin.
For NRG now, it's been a very slow process, but still building up the economy, and it's really not even still at a really safe point as of yet. Gabi and Legia only sitting at 1,800 and 950, whereas Splyce, of course, can just continue to chain these together because they've been on the full losing bonus for at least 2 rounds now. So they can't afford to do this with fairly consistent plans happening. Not going to see one that time, unfortunately. But this time, the strat from Splyce is so quickly already out into the site, but still being knocked out so quickly. Peter finds that first kill into Arya. Legia finding a second. Jason R finally trades one out into Legia because he's that aggressive player. And Shazam finds a second too. So it's going to be even traded for now. But then Silent coming in with another one. Shazam still keeping these trades. And again, it's another round where it's almost single-handedly off of Shazam that Splyce are kept in this game.
A lot of utility, though. Now they know exactly where Shazam is. They have 2 Molotovs and a smoke. And actually that forces Shazam right into the fires. All he could really do is go for that quick peek. Can't land it. So 15th round for NRG now. They're on the verge of winning. They've got 5 map points. Looking to go 1-1 against Splyce on the evening.
And of course, Splyce being able to find that plant that time because of the rush play. They still are going to be looking at another pretty full buy here heading into what could be the final round, but they need to execute. They have to make sure as well that they can get into this site a lot cleaner. It's just a brutal trade fest that keeps happening every time they go for a direct take, and it's almost always in the favor of NRG, which becomes a big problem. Even afterwards, where we do see some of these kills bounce back off of Shazam or any of the other players that manage to trade it, oftentimes they're at very disadvantageous positions, and it's easy pickings for NRG to find at least one of them.
These two ops on the NRG side have been so hard for Splyce to stop. That time they try and speed things up, maybe not wanting to be spread out against that. Legia has also been a menace, and again, he's going to push up close. He's going to have a huge flank here. He's just going to continue going forward, and the rotation is on. Justin and Peter already rotating towards the inner bomb site. Gabi is here as well. Molotov going to slow things down. Smoke now on the lower ramp. Gabi's getting pressure, though, from above. Peter's got to hold that off, but he misses the initial shot. So a lot of pressure here on the inner bomb site.
Gabi creeping up again, looking for that aggressive position that they've allowed NRG's players to just keep round after round. He's going to continue to do it. Finds that kill, falls back, nice discipline. Unfortunately, though, Silent drops down and thinks he's safe, but that's not the case. Jason R is going to take him out, but those trades continue. And once again, just like we've talked about, round after round, it's in the favor of Shazam, and that spray is only going to give his position away. So Justin, spraying out Shazam, is going to close out this map, and it will be NRG taking control of the second one.
Yeah, again, you mentioned the intelligent play of Legia in some of those rounds there on that last round. Saw it again. He comes in the flank, he gets a kill, and instead of pressing the issue, trying to go for more, he stays alive. Because what that does is that keeps one member of Splyce. It kept Shazam in this instance. His attention. You know, caught towards behind to make sure he always had to have his eyes in there. He always had to respect that potential flank, so it keeps him away from helping out his teammates in the bomb site. Eventually able to win that round out with a nice retake. So that is a 16-10 win for NRG. So, I mean, at least they get, you know, a win on the board, kind of try and close the gap as they try and get into those top 4 spots. But that was map 2. When we come back, there's going to be a second doubleheader going on. That's going to be between CLG and K-Konas. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll have the first map of that series started.
Well, and he could very well drop the bomb. Does just that, and he gets the second kill as well. Get right, putting it back into this round.
Oh my goodness, the energy in here is electric.
The bomb plant